Hey everyone, it's Nate here from flyplugins.com. Welcome to today's video. It's been a while since we've done one of these, but we're jumping back into our e-learning tech tool series. Occasionally we will bring you a review or an overview of an application or a solution that we feel might help you more effectively deliver your WP courseware training content. Today we're going to be talking about an iPad app, an iOS app called DesignJot. Now, if you've kept up with some of our past content or past blog articles, things like that, you'll know that we're huge fans of properly planning your training content before you start building it out. So we want you to have a roadmap. When you build your training content, we want you to figure out what's the most effective, what will help your students meet their goals. In the past, we've talked about things like mind mapping and outlining with mind mapping. We've gone over some applications like MindMeister, which is a great one. Ben and I have both used that for building training courses in the past. And we've also used Omni Outliner from the Omni Group. These are great tools to help you effectively plan out your training content. What DesignJot is going to help you do, it's going to walk through a series of steps to help you think through the entire process from beginning to end, what you want your students to experience and what you want them to walk away with. Now, DesignJot has been developed and is brought to you by a company called Allen.com. If you're not familiar with them, they are a high-end consultancy for training. So they help large companies build and deliver their training for their employees. Now, a bit of a caveat here, because of their background, this app, parts of it will be a little bit of overkill for the average entrepreneur who's just interested in kind of building out a course. But we'll go ahead and flip over to the iPad and take a look at some of the features, and I'm going to walk you through this from start to finish. So we'll go ahead and open up the app here. On our iPad, you can see that DesignJot comes with a sample project. We're going to work off of that just for the sake of simplicity. If you need to add a new project, you can certainly do that. Now, client and title aren't going to matter for most of you if you're just working on designing training for your own site. So we'll get rid of that one. And again, we're going to go back into the sample project here. Open that up. You're going to see on the left-hand side of the screen 6 tabs, ANSWER. Now, Allen.com has been doing training consulting for over 30 years. This is a sort of a proprietary analysis that they use. You can see there are 6 key steps to this evaluation: audience needs, strengths, weaknesses, expertise, and results. And what this whole app is designed to do is walk you through this process so that you can most effectively determine what your students need. You can set objectives and you can figure out how to get your students there. So this whole thing is really an exercise. And as we scroll through these tabs and we evaluate these different areas, we can see under audience here, we have some questions. What is the existing skill level of the audience? Now, that's really important to ask yourself. Again, you want to hone in on the majority of your student population and deliver the content that most of your students need. Not everyone, but what most of your students need. You can take that a step further within the audience tab, for example, what they do, how they feel. Most importantly, you're going to be looking at questions like this. So what is the existing skill level of the audience? And also questions like, what is their typical education background or training? Again, you need to know where the majority of your students are and what in terms of what they've already learned. And with this exercise, it's a great exercise once you download and install this app. We'll start moving through the tabs here. You go to the needs tab and you can see that this is where we start setting our goals. So you have a goal, a business goal. That's going to be basically at the end of your course, what do you want your students to walk away with? We have a behaviors tab here. So we can start answering these questions. And you'll notice that within some of these, for example, if I open this, list a measurable business goal. This doesn't have to be a business goal necessarily. Again, what do you want your students to walk away with? So we have some text in this particular field. And in the prompt for this particular text field, we can see that it's going to appear in a design flowchart. I'll get to that in just a minute, but this is where things start to get really cool. Basically, you're just going to go through and fill these out. You have a behaviors tab over here for needs, because you obviously have your students are going to have current behaviors and you want them to move in a different direction. You can think of behaviors as behaviors, or you can think of them as skill sets. What do you want them to learn? So for example, you can see here, this is an important text field in this particular screen. What desired behavior or training outcome do you want them to have? And again, this is going to go into the flow chart. I'll show you that in just a moment. But you just keep going through these tabs and answering these questions, and it really gets you thinking about what the most effective key topics are for your niche and your training. We get down to the bottom here, we have a results tab, so we don't necessarily need to measure this is, as I said, a little bit of overkill for most of us. For corporate trainees, their superiors are going to want measurable results. For us, this might just be some goals. We can change these questions, we can add some goals. How are we going to know if our students feel great about what the training that they received and if they're using that successfully? So that might be delivering a survey to your students 6 months after they complete their training, anything like that. So you can put results in here, what you want to focus on after they finish the course. So this is all step one, thinking through these questions. There are probably going to be questions in here that you haven't thought about before. So that, again, this is a great exercise. This is step one. You'll notice at the bottom of the app here in our toolbar, we also have a design tab. So I'll flip over here, and this is what I was talking about earlier, where when you fill in certain text fields, they appear here. You'll see that goal field that we took a look at earlier, that auto-populates over here on the flowchart side, as we saw within the text box message. We also have behaviors. Those are going to pre-fill here. Again, you can think of them as behaviors or what you want your students to accomplish. So think of these as the tools you want to give them, right? So you can see the examples here. Listen effectively to understand customer needs or concerns. That would be something that you want your student to walk away with. So these behaviors or goals that we teach, they're obviously going to be, unique to your niche, your training. We can add as many of these as we want. We can see we can add a new goal or behavior here. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one for now. But this is where things start to get really cool. If you look below behaviors, we have strategies. And these fields are really neat because they allow you to start actually planning out your content and determining how you're going to get there. And the team at AllenCom has done a good job of providing some example strategies here within the DesignJot app. We'll take a look at a couple of these quickly. In this single path scenario, you can see we have these tabs: objective, activity, and content. With objective, we start identifying, again, sort of reiterating what the behavior that we want the student to walk away with, or the goal we want them, the tool we want them to walk away with is. With activity, we can start thinking about exactly how we're going to get them there. What activity are we going to use? You can see here, this is sort of a role play or scenario type interaction that they're describing. And with content, we can then identify what's the critical content, what's the nice to know content, and finally, what sources can we rely on? And we'll close that one and head back to the flowchart, jump into the next one, which is video knowledge check. You can see this is a different set. We have an objective here that we want a video scenario to correctly identify the nonverbal communication indicators. If we go down to the activity, you can see the description is watch a video, then select the correct nonverbal cues depicted. This might be a very good example of what our customers do with video training in WP courseware. And you can see we can start sketching that out here in the layout field. We also have the content section once again. So I'll go ahead and close this, but those are the key features of this app that I wanted to show you. They're going to be located under the analysis and the design tabs. A couple of other cool features you notice on the bottom toolbar here, we have an option to add notes to this project. We can add sketches if we need to just brainstorm something. We can return to the home menu. That's just a list of our current projects. Once we're in that project, We can also choose to export it if we would like to. So I hope you've enjoyed this walkthrough of DesignJot. Again, we just thought it would be a great tool for some of you who are working to create new courses or make better courses. As always, let us know if you have any questions or comments. Thanks for watching.